welcome to the Funny Women Finals 2015.
Right now, I'm questioning my entire life. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you guys cheering like you know who the hell I am. Shit, I like that. Let me not die up here, though.
So why would a vicar want to do comedy? It's kind of nice to talk to more than 4 people.
Hello, and welcome to a special episode of Tomboy T-Rod.
Yes, not tirade or tirade, but T-Rod, the way we like to say it.
Let me ask you a question, Raven. Do you have a sense of humor?
Yeah, I would think so.
Do you think you are funny enough to be a funny woman?
Wait, is there something behind this? Are you saying that I'm not funny enough?
Chill, sister, chill. I'm just asking, no offense here, just asking, alright? After all, we are interviewing Lynn Parker, who we have here, the founder of Funny Women, UK's leading female comedy community. And since 2002, she has been busy championing funny women and helping them find their voice through performing, writing, and using humor in business and everyday life.
That's right! The Funny Woman Awards was started in 2003 to search for Britain's funniest woman. The 14th edition was launched earlier in March with new categories and an exciting new venue for the final in September. Check out the website at funnywoman.com for more details, or you can like the Funny Woman Facebook page and follow them on Twitter.
The contest sounds so awesome, Lynn, so I think I might just be the right person for it. What do you think, Ruben, right? I can pull it off, right? Stand-up comic, a lot of people, make them laugh, right?
I think you might have to be based in UK actually before you can take part, you know?
Darn it, just that.
But why don't you just ask her yourself? She's here. Hi Lynn, how are you today?
Hi, how are you?
And welcome to the show.
It's epic and more galactic than a supermassive black hole. Introducing Asia's biggest and only all-female English comedy chat podcast. Welcome to Tomboy T-Rod.
Tell us a little bit more about the Funny Women Awards. Why do you start it, and why do you start the Funny Women Awards in the first place?
Oh, well, what seems like an absolute age ago now, I was working in London for a comedy promoter. I was a publicist, and I was my job was to promote the club and talk about all the acts that were on. And they never, ever booked any women, and I couldn't understand it. So when I asked them why they never booked any women, I was told that, well, you know, women aren't funny.
What? Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a clarion call. I just thought, you know what, I'll prove you wrong, guys. Then I came up with the idea of putting on an all-comedy gig, and we were going to do it at the club. And then, very long story, but the guys that were running the club fell out with each other. The one who'd hired me left, and the other guy basically thought he didn't want to work with me, and I got fired.
Oh dear.
Oh, well, you know, these things happen. And I just thought, you know what, this is too good an idea to let go. I'm going to do this on my own. So I then set about, keeping the brand Funny Women, setting up a business. It did take me another 2 to 3 years to get going. And we did our first ever event in London in 2002.
Yeah.
Which was a really big charity night where I made every mistake in the book because that's what you do. Learn an awful lot from that. Lost a lot of money. Really mistakes always helps you get things right. And I really did do a lot of things wrong on that one. But out of that, fantastic opportunity came with a British company who helped us with our first sponsorship with a brand called Babycham, which I don't know if you are familiar with, but it was an amazing relationship, and we worked with them for 3 years, and they helped me launch the Funny Women Awards. So we started in the very first year. I think we scraped together about 70 women to enter. Fast forward to this year, we've just closed the entry, and for the Stage Award, which was the only award we had in those days, for the Stage Award this year, we've gone over 350 entrants.
Wow.
So that man who said there weren't any funny women...
They don't know what they were talking about.
is hopefully... they don't know what they were talking about. Well, I feel I've got my revenge, actually, girls. So, that's the main thing.
Yeah, we're happy for you. Yeah, they say the best way to kill your critic is to prove them wrong. So, yay!
Yeah.
Proving them wrong in the best way possible.
Yeah. So I think that what's so interesting is that from that one statement of telling me that there were no funny women, I think we've actually now, there's a whole new, it's 14 years, which is a long time. And I think we're almost on our sort of second generational wave of new female comedians. And you talked about us being the leading UK brand, but I think now we reach out all around the world. We've had girls from Malaysia come and enter. We get quite a lot of American girls, American and Canadian girls. In fact, one of our most famous winners is Canadian, although she lives in the UK. And we get a lot of women from Australasia. So we've got a woman in the competition this year. A lot of them are resident in London, but she's Russian. So, it's really interesting how international female comedy is. And that's kind of what I've always dreamed of it being. That's what I've always wanted it to be.
It is true, blondes have more fun, but we also have invisible eyebrows and a higher risk of skin cancer.
How's everybody doing? I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
So we have been following you on social media, and it seems that there's a lot going on for you guys. So would you like to share about us how you're promoting the awards?
What's happened this year is that we work very closely with Benefit Cosmetics, who have been our sponsors we're in year 5 of working with Benefit. And they are a very clever, innovative company, and they always do things a bit differently, which is why they're amazing for us to work with. And in London this year, they've taken over a small ship on the River Thames, which is a restaurant ship and a function. People can have parties on it and what have you. And they've taken it over and rebranded it as the Good Ship Benefit. So all through the summer, so we started in April and it goes right through to the end of August, we have our own venue on the River Thames.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So we've been putting comedy nights on there. We've been using it for all our heats of our Funny Women Awards. But during July, we are opening it up for Edinburgh. The Edinburgh Fringe. Are you familiar with the Edinburgh Fringe?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So in London, everyone prepares for the Edinburgh Fringe and they do previews of their shows. So during July, we have got 36, I think it is, all female show previews on the Good Ship Benefit, 2 shows a night all the way through July, which is going to be amazing. So we've informally branded it as the Funny Women Festival, and it's something that it's sort of come about because of having the Good Ship. But it's quite a nice idea, and I think if it works this summer, we'll try and do it again. But it's a wonderful opportunity. So that is taking up an awful lot of time and energy. And obviously we've got the awards as well, but we have closed entry now for the Stage Award. But the next wave of it is that we'll be get the entries in for the Writing Award and the Comedy Short Film Award. So we'll get busy with that. So after the July previews, we then have all our scripts and films coming in. We go to Edinburgh as well. We go to the Edinburgh Fringe for the weekend on the 13th and 14th of August. Then we're reading scripts, watching films, and then we come back in September and we build up to the final on the 28th of September. So, you know, that's pretty much, you know, our lives for the next 3 months. When people say to me, when are you going on holiday? Well, squeezing in a holiday is always tricky this time of year, but there you go.
That sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds like great fun to look forward to. So the finals is 28th of September, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It's moving to a new venue in London this year. We've a personal favourite of mine. I've always wanted to hold the final in a very kind of glitzy, iconic venue. And we're moving it to what is now called Coco, was formerly known as the Camden Palace, and was quite famous actually for music hall and variety shows in its early heyday. So now it's a very famous music gig. They do put comedy on there. It's a wonderful venue. It's absolutely stunning. So we're moving the final there. And all the finalists, we've actually introduced regional finals this year. So any of the girls that get through to the regional finals in London, Dublin, Edinburgh and Manchester will have done extremely well because of how many entrants we've got this year. And then in the final, we're only taking 6 girls through. And each of those girls are going to be mentored by an established and quite well-known female comedian. So they will have the opportunity to work with someone who's already made it on the circuit, who's already busy and working, and they will be mentored by them. So our final is going to take on a slightly different look. So there's going to be less finalists, but a much higher standard and profile.
Okay, this is the big one. And in first place, this year's winner of the 2015 Funny Women Awards is the fantastic Desiree Birch.
It sounds all very, very, very interesting. It sounds like your very own Oscars, but for the funny women, specifically in the UK.
Absolutely. That's the dream. That's the dream.
Hearing from you, there seems to be a lot of categories of awards. So, like, what are the criteria for the awards like? Like, who are you looking for, and what are you looking for, let's say, if they want to join up?
So the Stage Award, which is the one that most people know about, by the way, all 3 of the main awards have equal status now. They all have the same sort of prize value, so they're all equally important. But the Stage Award naturally attracts more attention. So it's it's somebody who is deemed a new act. We've had winners who've been on their first or second gig, literally, to women who've been right at the other end of it. I think you've already interviewed Desiree Birch, who won last year.
Yes.
She's been working quite a lot, but has started stand-up about 3 or 4 years ago before she won. So it's up to 5 years if you're a performer. We are looking for stand-up, sketch, character. I think we've had a couple of impro teams in the competition. And then we have the Short Film Award, which we launched 3 years ago. That is for anyone to submit. You might have an idea for a sketch or just an idea that you want to try out on film. It's actually great for people who don't live in the UK because anyone can enter that. So anyone around the world, if you want to enter, that is open until the end of August, the 31st of August. So plenty of time to put your film together. And I think the criteria is now up to 6 minutes. So it's about the same length as doing a stand-up performance, but on film.
On film.
And then comedy writing is, the details are actually all on the website, obviously, but comedy writing is where we get people to submit script ideas. We ask for an outline of your idea and then maybe some, I think 2 or 3 sample scenes. But we need those The closing date for that is the 15th of August, so still quite a long time. We saw a lot of scripts last year. I think we had 250 to 300 scripts submitted last year. Again, people don't see all the work that goes into this because we have to have really good readers that want to read. We have quite a team of people that help us read all the scripts, and we shortlist them, and then we put them in front of an expert panel.
You have to be a little bit like a swan, smooth on the surface, but like paddling away on the bottom and like doing all the work.
You got it.
So it seems like if you are on our side of the world, we can still take part for the film.
Yeah, so City, you still have a chance.
Yeah, I can still have a chance, so I can probably take part in that. I'll check that out.
So, and actually, video and YouTube and short form is really helping women to get seen by all the broadcasters. I mean, Channel 4 in the UK actually have a division where they take ideas from short form video and they turn them into short form broadcastable packages. And one of the girls that they brought through, Michaela Cole, has just won a BAFTA for her program, which all started as a short video idea. So, that's why we started it as well. We thought it's a really good opportunity for women to get their stuff in front of other people. And that's really important to us.
That is great. It's really, like you said, funny women are all over the world, and it's not just in the UK. So it's more of how they're connecting more with the funny women that are all over the world to be part of these awards and this wonderful thing. This is absolutely great.
On that note, right, because you're mentioning about videos, how do you feel that technology has helped the comedy scene in UK?
I think it's transformed the comedy scene. I think it's on a positive front. It means anyone can get an idea together. You can record it, you can film it. If you've got an iPhone, we're actually starting a new little video series with a couple of brilliant young female comedians here who approached us and said, we want to make a sort of funny women series. And they're recording all of that on iPhones. So they're just, and they edit it and they do it from there. So there's an opportunity for anybody. I mean, and anyone can record an idea and make it into a short film. On the negative side, I think that it means that people have a very short attention span. So, me included, you can switch into something and quite honestly, if it doesn't grab me in the first minute, I'm out, Mm-hmm. And I think that's the negative side of technology and new media, is that we don't necessarily give things as much of a chance as we should do. And people come to comedy, usually they'll see somebody on television or on YouTube or whatever, and they think, oh, they sound great, I'm going to go and watch them live. And then when they get to the live show, they are almost a little bit confronted by the fact that the act they loved for 5 minutes on YouTube and that is now going to do an hour's show. I think we've lost the ability to go and see things live and in person. And that's the bit I don't like about technology.
Yes, that I agree.
Because seeing somebody on television or on a clip on your computer is not the same as going out to see live comedy. You get to the Edinburgh Fringe, which is the world's largest arts festival, and some people are performing their shows to 2 or 3 people. I've sat in an audience of 3 or 4 people many a time at the Fringe. I want people to use social media as a way, or technology, use it as a way to test things and see what you like. But do go out and see live music and live comedy, because it's not the same experience.
On the topic of the female comedians, what are the upcoming acts we should look forward to?
I mentioned Catherine Ryan. She won our competition in 2008, and this has been the last year. She's just gone from being quite well known to really well known. So she's all over. She sits on a lot of the TV panel shows. She was giving away trophies, prizes at the BAFTAs. She's like the go-to female comedian of the moment. She's very, very good. She's like a sort of cross between a Joan Rivers, and I don't know if you would even know who I'm talking about. There's a very famous, there is still a famous American female comedian called Rita Rudner, and she kind of is in that sort of slick American, potty-mouthed comedy genre, but with an English twist, because she lives in the UK. She's actually Canadian. She's really good. I predict that she will go, I think her next move will be to try and break America. And I think she could do very well in America.
My boyfriend called me from work not too long ago. He's like, hey babe, how are the kids? I'm like, Sean, Preston, and Jaden James Spears Federline are not good, because he's like, no babe, our kids. Well, we don't have any kids, so I'm like, I think you meant to call your wife again.
Tiff Stevenson and Ellie Taylor, they both did a programme called Show Me the Funny, which was a British TV programme, where they both got a lot of exposure and got seen. They're both absolutely fantastic stand-up comedians, and they're actually working with us. They're two of our mentors for the finalists this year. I don't know are you aware of Shazia Mirza?
Yeah.
She's Asian, obviously, as her name implies. I've known Shazia since I set up Funny Women, and she works really, really hard. She's just started to get the right kind of visibility. She appeared on quite a famous British chat show called The Jonathan Ross Show. She was brilliant on that. People absolutely loved her. But, it takes a long time. Some of these women have been working 15 years, whereas the equivalent male comedian seems to get that kind of recognition in 5 years. It's so disappointing. It's but we just got to keep doing it and not moaning about it, really. Just keep on doing it.
Funny women are taking over the world. Move aside.
Don't know if I'm quite ready for world domination, but I'll take a little bit of it.
So yeah, writing a book right now. Have you ever done stand-up comedy as well?
I have done a little bit of performing. In my youth, I'm quite old, by the way, so I'm going to be 60 at the end of June.
Really?
On the 30th. Yes, I am, which is horrific, but there you go.
But you don't look that old in your photo.
I mean, it's a really weird thing to think that I've reached this milestone, and I don't know, it's sort of crept up on me. But in my late teens and my 20s, I used to do a lot of drama at school, and I used to run a theatre workshop for young kids. I've always kind of been around performing, but I grew up in a family where my father, probably, if he'd been born into a different generation, probably would have been a comedian, because he was quite funny, and we had lots of kids' parties and they were always themed. So I grew up in that environment where everyone was always sort of entertaining each other. Very London, working to middle class London family that went on a lot of holidays, and we had a lot of fun as kids. I was very fortunate, very standard but fun childhood, and I think that leads on. I didn't go to university, and I actually trained to be a journalist. So my first love is writing. So I really went that route rather than the sort of performing. But I think because I've always liked I ran a PR company, which is, you're selling and you're talking to people. So my skills have always been around writing and putting things together. And I don't do stand-up, but what I do in the UK and in Europe now, I'm off to Bonn in a couple of weeks' time to do a TEDx talk. So I'm on that sort of speaker circuit in a fairly low-key way, I have to say. I don't really push myself out there as number one. I think people think I'm going to be hilariously funny, and I'm not. so I have to manage expectation there. Thank you for laughing. But, I think because I run a company called Funny Women, they all think I'm going to be hilarious. So they often have to go, well, actually, you're going to be a bit disappointed because, I'm really rubbish at telling jokes. But I do think because I work and live around comedy, you kind of get used to the comedy way of doing things. So I'm quite comfortable trying stuff out and, you know, just if I think of an idea, I'll often try it out exactly like a comedian would do. And so the whole idea of the book was to sort of pull some of this stuff together and do a sort of book about, you know, my working title for it is How to Be a Funny Woman. The whole idea of it is that, you know, humour and laughing and everything is all very essential to life. And sometimes we forget about it, you know, we don't exercise the muscle. So I want to do a book about how we do it, how we use it, and then include some interviews with some women that I think are funny, you know, not necessarily comedians, but they use humour in their everyday life. So it's sort of coming together. I've got the outline. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for a publishing, a literary agent at the moment, and then I'll take the book out to people and see if I can get a publishing deal. So yeah. I was going to do it before I'm 60, but it hasn't worked out. So it'll have to be in the next couple of years, but we'll work on it. You know, that's what life is like, unfortunately. You just have to, you know, not worry too much.
Yeah, you already announced it to the world, so you have to finish the book.
I will. Yes, I will.
On that note, yeah, it's great talking to you, Lynn.
Yeah. Thank you. Lovely to talk to you as well.
Really awesome to see such a community of women helping each other and making each other laugh. Like, that's so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be on a stage, you know, get together with your mates. And, you know, we do lots of networking in London as well. You're too far away, but, you know, if you ever come to London, we do have a regular night in London called Time of the Month, of course.
Time of the Month, nicely put.
Yeah. And we all get together, and it's a sort of a new talent night where people come along and they test out ideas, and we get women who've never done comedy onto the stage, and we encourage them. So that's a really big thing for us. And I would, you know, it would be lovely to think that could happen, you know, all over the world one day, but, you know, we'll get there.
Yep, that is so true. And with that, you learn so much on getting a laugh together. That is going to be a quote somewhere. Thank you very much, Lynn.
Thank you.
For talking to us and telling us all these wonderful stories. And now we know there is a funny woman behind the funny women.
You're very kind. Thank you.
With that, and that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this episode of Tomboy Tirade, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and Stitcher. And of course, not forgetting the show is also available for free streaming on our website, where you'll find absolutely the most brilliant stuff on being a funny geek tomboy in space-time today. Check it all out at www.tomboy-tarts.com, and it's all about a tomboy, y'all.
That's right! If you just want to connect with us outside of the show, we are also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr. Just type Tomboy Tarts!
And if you have any inquiries about advertising, collaborating, or appearing just like how Lynn has on this podcast or our blog, drop us an email at hello@tomboy-tarts.com. Once again, that's hello@tomboy-tarts.com, because we are everywhere, over there, everywhere.
And we will see you again, listeners, back at our regular episode of Tomboy Tirade, here with Joanna, Cindy, Persis, and myself, Raven. Until then, ciao and adios, amigos.